Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. Everybody, we are looking at an IELTS speaking section. We will be practicing the speaking questions for the IELTS exam. This material is brought to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, check us out there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. Hi Zibo, Toyo, we are here to help. I will help you get a bit more confidence and some good ideas for your speaking tomorrow. Anna, welcome. Members, Carolina, nice to have our chat moderator back. I hope you're having a good day, Carolina. Everybody, our website looks like this. This is aehelp.com. We will use this website a little bit later on to chat with students. To join the premium version of our course, click the big red button that's just above my head. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. When you click that button, you fill out a simple form. You can use the code VISIT9 for a 10% additional discount. The price is different in different countries, and we try to make it available to everybody. Again, it is a one-time payment. Then you can access your My Student account where you have computer-based practice exams, a full interactive course, printable paper exams. You have over 200 lesson videos, audio CDs for the listening, reading, and speaking, and additional services. And then you have task 1, task 2 writing, and we have the student partner speaking that we will use today to interact with our viewers. For general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. It's the green background. Click that big red button that's kind of tucked in behind me. And again, you will definitely be on the right path for improving your IELTS scores. For those students who have premium access to the website, you get 2 extra Zoom classes each week. I will send out the links for those Zoom classes maybe today, definitely by tomorrow. If anybody's curious what those classes look like, you can check out this link here. I'll put that into the chat. It's not the right one there. The link is this one here. There. All right. So the apps, yes, of course, you get apps as well, and it's included with your premium course. You can also get the apps from the from your Play stores, Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. And if you have Instagram, you can check out schedules, vocabulary, grammar, IELTS_AEHelp, GIELTS Help. Shopify has our products as well, youtube.com, AEHelp store. My contact is coming up, Calvin. Here you go. My contact is adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Either one of those emails will get you in touch with me or my colleagues if you have questions about the IELTS and you need some further help. If you want to edit some videos, we're always looking for great video editors to join our team, or people who have a passion for tinkering and playing around with video editing. So send us a CV, let us know. You're very welcome, Calvin. Hi, Sarah. All right, everybody, April 4th to April 7th, today until Sunday. We've got speaking part 1 for everyone. Tomorrow we have task 1 writing. That will be an academic. It will be maybe a let's see, I think it might be pie charts or bar graphs tomorrow. And then we'll do listening part 3 and 4 from Test Glider that we started last week. And then we'll have speaking part 2 and 3, and we'll do speaking for our premium students on Sunday, and then task 2 writing on Wednesday. So that's what we're looking forward to. All right. So everybody, new speaking video is up. It's this one here. You can check that out when you have a minute on YouTube. Miriam, I did send you some emails. If anybody misses those emails for the Zoom classes on Sundays and Wednesdays, make sure to contact me early so I can get those to you, okay? Miriam, definitely check your spam and trash folders as well for our emails, okay? All right, Ugulhan, good to have you in the class. All right, students, so IELTS speaking. This is speaking, so make sure to speak and repeat. The first step, of course, to good speaking is listening, and you're all doing that. You're here and you're listening to me. That is fantastic. I really want to imagine that you're also talking and speaking, so copy what I say, copy how I say it, try to imitate my intonation, my speed. For those of you who are wondering where I am, again, I'm in Victoria, Canada. Victoria is situated along the west coast of Canada. It is the capital city of the province of British Columbia, and its close neighbors are Vancouver to the east and Seattle to the south in the US. So I speak with a West Coast North American accent. You will hear a similar kind of English as mine along the West Coast, especially anywhere in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Portland, Oregon, and so forth. All right, so students, here we go. You have your IELTS speaking. It's separate from the listening, reading, writing. It takes about 12 to 15 minutes, usually closer to the 12 mark. You have about, I would say 4 minutes for part 1, maybe a little bit less depending on your fluency. Okay. Yes, Carolina, thank you for reminding everybody. Visit 9 should also work on Shopify as well. Students, so you go to your IELTS speaking. Now, you need to be practicing your speaking as early as possible, even a few months before you sit your test, okay? It is not a simple chit-chat. It is not an everyday conversation. It has structure. It has a unique format, and you need to be ready for it, okay? So my first tip, and most of you are already here, so I think you figured this out, but IELTS speaking is not a casual conversation where you should be just yourself, okay? There's a lot of strange advice that kind of floats around the internet about the speaking section, and when you're trying to figure out, what is good advice, what is bad advice, use logic, okay? Use your common sense, it's called, common sense or logic, to figure out good from bad advice on the internet, okay? You get a lot of these people saying like, oh, just be yourself, just be natural. Yeah, be yourself, be natural, but also recognize that you're not in just a common kind of situation here. You're in an interview showing your best English, okay? So you are in an interview where you need to show your best English and your range of English. Okay, so this means from formal to casual, from complex, let's go the other way, from simple to complex, okay? All right, so that's what you need to do, because that will enable the examiner to say, hey, this person is an expert user. They can use simple English, they can use complex English, they can use formal English, they can use casual English. Really good, and they've got lots of vocabulary. Right? Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, students, what is required for professional communication? Here's a good question for you. What is needed for professional communication? That's a really good question to ask yourself before you get into the IELTS speaking. So yes, Elizabeth, spring is beautiful. For those of us in the northern hemisphere, spring is upon us. For those of us in the southern hemisphere, like Carolina, it's time for fall, right? So the season's going towards winter. So question, what is needed for professional communication, students? Ask yourself that and try to define it in simple terms. So when you're communicating professionally to another person, what do you need? Formal language, what does that mean, Ugulhan? What is formal language? So when you say formal language, that sounds fancy enough. But what does that actually mean? What is formal language? Okay. Asa says being articulate, simple expressions, well articulated. Okay, what does that mean? Those are some nice words, but what do they actually mean? Am Devil says, how about let's just start with good listening. What does that mean? Okay, so Anna says polite phrases. Not necessarily. Polite communication and professional communication are not necessarily the same. So keep that in mind. Polite and professional communication are not necessarily the same. There are a few important steps, and see, students, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm a little bit worried when I don't see a lot of good answers to this question, right? Very good. Asa says, how about expressing the most detail with the least words? That's a good answer there, Asa. So expressing the most information with the least words. Yes, that means concise language. That's the expressing the most information with the least words. Concise language. Yes. Absolutely. Hiruni says concise and organized answers and a good grammatical control. Yes. Organized answers. Well-structured and organized answers. Well-structured answers. Yes. Alexander says, be formal, accept slang. Not necessarily. Slang could appear in professional communication as well if it is purposeful and used strategically, let's say. All right, what else is a part of professional communication? Emran says clarity. Okay. How about simply just accurate communication? So accurate and empathetic communication. So giving the intended or needed answer. Okay, it's one of the most common mistakes on the IELTS, everybody, is people go off topic. They don't answer the question that they're being asked. Okay, so technical skill wise, you need to use the questions, you need to paraphrase questions to be on track for professional communication. Okay, use questions and paraphrase vocabulary to stay on track and to be professional. Okay, now professional communication requires a lot of different steps or pieces. Body language is part of that. It's another really weird, bad advice that floats around in the internet. I think it's just to get you to click on their videos and go, oh yeah, no, I feel great now about not using body language. Body language is a big part of professional communication. When you look at professional communicators, they use lots of body language. They use vocal language, so they have intonation, they're loud, they project their voice, okay? Yes, they don't mark you on that, but obviously that has a big impact on your final score. So even though you do not get directly marked on your confidence, body language, projecting your voice, these have a major impact on your end result, not a kind of small, okay? If you're super smart and you have super good vocabulary, but you talk like this, and you're like, well, I have a variety of hobbies and I'd like to tell you about a few of them because I'm very involved in volunteering and also in reading books. The person will be like, excuse me, what are you saying? What Right? Maybe you're using amazing language and amazing vocabulary, but if the examiner can't hear you and they're going, huh? Then obviously your voice and your body language are going to have a really negative impact on your score, okay? Obviously. So when people tell you it doesn't matter, yeah, it matters. It matters a lot, okay? All right, so let's get into it, students. You'll understand this more through practice, and let's do that now. Let's practice. So you go to your IELTS speaking test, arrive an hour early, build your confidence, focus on practicing your strategies, get comfortable with the exam center, go to the washroom, really just get ready, okay? Don't just show up 20 minutes before. I just did a speaking interview with a Band 9 candidate, a person who scored a Band 9 on the IELTS exam, on the official IELTS exam. And I asked him a few questions about what he did during the exam day. Guess when he showed up to his IELTS exam? I was surprised. I was like, wow, really? He got a Band 9. And he showed up to his IELTS exam, his speaking exam. I was even surprised at that. 3 hours before it started. 3 hours. And do you know what he did? He went into the exam center and he asked for a space. He said, do you guys have a room where I can sit down and practice a bit for my IELTS test? And they said, sure. They gave him a room. And he was practicing his speaking for 3 hours. Now, I think that might be a bit much, but he got a Band 9. So it must have been good. Okay. And they were able to accommodate him. They gave him a room to practice his speaking. Okay. Yeah, Carolina, he practiced by himself. So he just said a question and then he pretended like he was looking at an examiner and he gave the answer, and he went over a lot of the main kind of topics of environment, technology, and so on. And yeah, he did it by himself. Now, my recommendation is to go an hour early and find other people, but he actually, yeah, he did it by himself. Yeah, so there you go. But he showed up 3 hours early. Okay. All right, so let's do this, everybody. Let's get into these questions. You go to your exam. Eventually, you're comfortable, you're confident, you meet with the examiner. The examiner says, welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. We are conducting this test in Edmonton. The time right now is 14 o'clock. Let's begin. May I see your identification, please? Okay, what is the right answer for this? What is the professional answer for this? Casual answer? Yeah, sure. Or here you go. Okay, that's the casual answer. What's the professional answer? What's the professional answer? Emran says, easy answer is no. Emran, if you say no, they will ask you to leave the exam if you forgot it. Okay, of course, here is my passport is the everyday answer. Abhishek says, yes, please. Yes, please is bad English. Okay. Because we say that when somebody is asking if we need something. Okay. Okay, would you like a glass of water? Yes, please. May I see your passport? Yes, please. What? I don't know. I mean, you give me your passport. What? So it's bad English. Okay. Narmada says, yes, gladly. Here's my passport. Now, you know, again, so some people are like, well, yeah, but I heard on the internet, or this guy said to me, we should just keep it really short and simple and just say yes or yes, sure. The simplest professional answer is yes, gladly, here's my passport, for sure. Now, here's a good question. Okay, so remember what I said. Don't listen to this guy. Don't listen to that guy. Listen to your brain, your logic, right? How do I know that I should use a professional answer here? What's the logical answer for this? Okay, everybody. So we're going to get along here and really speed up, but I want to convince you that it's not about he said, she said. It's about logic. It's about good thinking. And the IELTS exam is all about that. If you want those band 7, 8, 9 scores, it's all about that. So how do I know that this requires a professional answer and not a casual answer like, yeah, sure, or here you go? How do I know that it requires an answer like, yes, gladly, here's my passport, or yes, certainly, here is my ID that I used to register. Please take a look. Okay, so how do I know that the correct answer is a professional answer like this? How do I know that? Meet Patel, if you have stammering, stuttering, or any kind of speech impediment, you need to get a medical or professional note for that and indicate it during your registration. Okay? All right. So why do I know that I need to give a formal answer here? What's the there's, you know, it's not by accident. It's not like, is this casual or is this formal? No, it's formal. And there's a very clear reason for that. Why is it formal? Why do I know that it's formal? What gives me the idea that I should be giving this examiner a formal answer? There's a very simple logic to this. Okay, Alexander says the examiner will really have to check the ID. Okay, look at the question. The question's professional. Okay, they don't. So the examiner says, "May I see your identification, please?" And that's literally what they say. So professional question. Okay. The examiner, you will never hear the examiner say something like, let's check out your ID. Or they'll never say something like, show me your ID. Okay. So, where's your ID? Where's your passport? Okay. Or, let's have your passport. Or let's do one even better. Flash me your passport for a sec. Now, if you hear the examiners say this, flash me your passport for a sec, you can definitely answer them with, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. All right. So if you hear that kind of an informal, you never will, but if you hear that kind of an informal request for your passport, then go informal. Sure, why not? Flash me your passport. Oh yeah, there you go. Wha-bam! I would even do that, right? But anyway, the examiner is professional, the question's professional, so obviously it makes sense that the answer is professional, right? Professional question, professional answer, okay? So may I see your identification, please? Yes, of course. Here's my passport. Please take a look, right? Okay. Flash me your passport. Yeah, sure. All right. So that's how you know, okay? That's how you know. All right. Again, the next question here, what is your full name? It's not what's your name. Okay, they don't go, what's your name? What's your name? Oh, I'm Mike. Right? That would be the casual version. What is your full name is the professional version. So my given name is Michael. My family name is Franklin. Please call me Mike. Professional question, professional answer. Casual question, what's your name? Oh, I'm Mike. Casual answer. Okay. Ugulhan says flash. Flash means to just quickly show in this case, Ugulhan. Okay. So professional questions demand professional answers. You're in a professional setting. Your examiner will be wearing a nice dress if she's a woman, or a tie and a shirt generally. Okay. Alexander says, my given name is Alexander. My family name is Vladimirov. Please call me Alexander. Yes. Phyllis says, my given name is Phyllis and my family name is Moses. Please call me Phyllis. Very nice, Phyllis. All right, Elior, this answer here is not the best. Okay. So again, it's the situation. Why is this not the best? So Elior says you can say my full name is Elior Smith, let's say, but you can call me just Elior. This is an okay answer, but it's not the best. The reason why it's not the best is because you're giving the examiner permission to call you Elior. In fact, the examiner is in a position of power, okay? So understand the position of the examiner. The examiner is A, an expert in English. Okay. B, the examiner is a professional in a position of power. If they choose, they can ask you to leave the exam. They have the control. They are in a position of power. So that's why we don't use that answer of like, you can call me. It's better to say, please call me. Okay. Also, keep in mind, they are a stranger. They do not know what you know. Okay. So make sure that you speak to them clearly. Keep these points in mind. They're an expert in English. They're in a position of power, and they're a stranger. Okay? All right, keep that in mind. So it's better to say, please call me, than you can call me. Okay? Usha says, my given name is Usha. My family name is Mins, or my surname is Mins. Usha, careful. My given name is Usha Mins. It would be my given names are Usha Mins if it's your middle name. If If it's your family name, then you have to say, my given name is Usha, my family name is Mins, please call me Usha. Okay, Usha, careful with that, all right? Students, technically, the examiner is not marking you for these first few questions. But they are getting an idea for your English level. Even a very nervous Band 8 or Band 9 will likely be able to introduce themselves very clearly, okay? And if they make mistakes because they're nervous, they will probably be able to correct themselves. They say, oh, just a sec, I'm really nervous. Let me tell you my name again, right? So they're very good at that, all right? Okay. So the examiner will then ask you a couple of questions to try to make you feel a little bit comfortable. And so they'll go, why are you taking this exam? So they'll tell you, they'll say, for part 1, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Why are you taking this exam? Especially in the beginning, use the question. Okay. So, I am, okay? Use full words in the beginning, not contractions. I am sitting the IELTS because I plan to continue my studies in computer engineering in a university in Canada next year. Okay, so nice clear answer. You don't have to go overboard. Just a nice clear complete answer. I'm sitting the IELTS because I plan to continue my studies in computer engineering in a university in Canada next year. Okay? Is that clear, everybody? Yes? Anahita has this answer for us. Now again, it's speaking, everybody, so make sure to speak and repeat. I am sitting this exam not only to evaluate my English proficiency, but also to fulfill the requirements of the university I am decisive to attend. Not I am decisive to attend, Anahita, but I am planning to attend. I am decisive to attend is a bit awkward, okay? Specifically the University of Toronto. Okay, again, so now that's over speaking, Anahita. So we would just say, but I'm also fulfilling the requirements for the University of Toronto. Remember what one of your classmates said, Anahita, professional communication is concise. It's not fancy. It's not, you don't overspeak. Why not, students? Why not? So you notice how I just kind of deleted a big chunk of Anahita's answer there. Why? Why is it not good to overspeak and use unnecessary words or vocabulary in professional communication? Okay, so if you're trying to force idioms or vocabulary unnecessarily, it will actually hurt your score eventually. And you definitely don't want to do that in part 1. Why? Alexander says you can make more mistakes. That's definitely one. Okay, it doesn't sound very natural. Corb says the examiner will get bored. There's a simpler answer. It lowers coherence. So when you say unnecessary words and expressions, we have to pay more attention. We have to give more energy unnecessarily. And eventually people don't. And then we don't understand what the person's saying. So it lowers your coherence. Okay. All right. Elizabeth has this answer for us in the chat. Elizabeth says, I'm taking IELTS because I'm taking the IELTS exam because it is one of the requirements for my certification as a medical interpreter. See, it is required for my medical interpreter certification and I plan to work in the hospital system here in Indonesia. I'm not sure. Elizabeth, I think you're in Indonesia, if I remember correctly, right? Okay, so concise language. Practice that concise language, everybody. Next question. What do you do for fun? To relax and enjoy life. I like to play with my children or hang out with my friends. Just yesterday, I went to a comedy club with Jeremy, one of my childhood pals, and we had a great time. Okay, to relax and enjoy life, I like to play with my children or hang out with my friends. Just yesterday, I went to a comedy club with Jeremy, one of my childhood pals, and we had a great time. Enough. Answer clear with example. Okay. Let's see what you have for answers. Okay, Anahita, nice. I can tell, Anahita, that you prepared for this class in advance, and that's really smart, everybody. So to make the most use of these classes, it's good to practice beforehand. And Anahita, you have improved leaps and bounds by being so studious. I can tell with your vocabulary and your thinking and your language all has really leveled up for sure. Okay, so Anahita says, for having joyful moments, I either call my friend Gawara and crack some jokes with her, or play music and exercise because they are beneficial for my mental and physical health. Good, nice. I love the explanation. Now, notice how here Anahita did something interesting. So she's using the example first, which is an interesting strategy. You can do that. So you can go into an example first. Just make sure it's nice and concise, like with Anahita here. So Anahita answers the question. I either call my friend and then gives the example, Gawara, right? And then cracks some jokes with her. And then play some music. Now, if you want, you can even go back to that kind of example explanation of Gawara, and you can say, I had a really funny conversation with Gawara yesterday evening. Okay, so you can even go back to it. All right. Okay. Ugulhan has this answer for us. Ugulhan says, I usually like to play basketball with my friends for fun because I hang out with my friends at weekends. Just last Sunday, we played a great game and had lots of fun. And we don't need the during the playing because that's clear. Okay? So we can take that part out. So I usually like to play basketball with my friends for fun because when I hang out with my friends at the weekends, I always have a great time. Okay, a little bit more sensible. Michael White says, that's a good question. I like to watch movies in my leisure time to unwind as well as talk to my family through video calls. Additionally, I like to go to the gym at least 3 times a week. I did a fantastic bicep workout yesterday. Okay, remember those specific examples. It's good to remind yourself of those. Okay, now you definitely want to take out, that's a good question. Why? Students, this is a very important tip. You want to take out this "that's a good question." Okay? Michael, why do we want to take out that part, that's a good question? Students, this is really important, okay? And even though they aren't really giving you marks yet, these 4 or 5 simple words could really hurt your score and could really negatively affect the situation. Why? So saying "that's a good question" could have a bad impact. Why? Koa says because it's informal. Nope. What do you think? It's not that it's informal. Ugolhan says because it's the beginning, it's a warm-up question. Nope. That's not why. Because it indicates to the examiner that you are trying to use templates in the interview. So they will rush the interview and label you as a band 6. Okay? So what it tells me if a student is using this is that they watched one too many YouTube videos on use this phrase or start with this sentence or start with these words, and they're going to do this throughout the interview. It's really annoying for the examiner. They might start to rush the test. They might start to interrupt you. So you want to really stay away from these kinds of situations that signal to the examiner that you're using templates or catchwords or phrases that you memorized off the internet. Okay, so avoid. And Michael, here, what do you do for fun? I mean, it's not a good question. It's just a simple question. Okay. The alternative, Yandim, is just answer the question and use the question. So for fun. So as simple as this, for fun. Okay. Start with the piece of the question. For fun, I like to watch movies in my leisure time to unwind, as well as to talk to my family through video calls. Okay. So, all right. Yeah, so okay, Corp says this. Corp says, my IELTS teacher literally says to say these things if you don't know the answer. Yes, this literally also tells the examiner the same. You don't know what to say or the correct natural English, so you are using a template. Yeah, Corpse, I mean, I don't recommend picking fights with your teachers and arguing with them, but you should, a teacher is there to help you. And you should question your teachers. If you question me, I welcome it. So if you have, a complaint or a comment about what I'm telling you or teaching you, I welcome that. I'm open to change, and I'm open to explaining what I say. So it's an important part of teaching. Teachers aren't always correct. So Corpse, you can ask your teacher, well, doesn't the examiner also realize then that I'm saying that because I don't know what I'm saying or I don't understand the question? Right? So if my teacher's like, oh, if you don't know what you're going to say or if you're stuck, just say, well, that's a good question. But doesn't that mean that the examiner will also know that I don't know what I'm saying and that's why I'm saying that? Isn't that a problem? Right? Logic. Now, can you use that's a good question? Yes, but usually that's for part 3. Like, if there's a question like this, everybody, what should each person do to help the environment? If this is the question, that's a good question, right? Because it helps our survival, and it, we should all be thinking about it. So that's a good question. Every person must consume less and recycle in order to help nature. Okay, and then keep going a little bit. So in that situation, that's a good question. But if I ask you, what do you do for fun? Answering with that's a good question, it's like, oh, really? I would kind of laugh at that, okay? Yadim, in my point of view, what do you do for fun? In my point of view, I like watching movies. No, definitely not, Yadim. You don't just randomly start sentences with certain expressions, okay? All right, so you have to be careful. Okay, it needs to have purpose. Your language must have purpose. If it doesn't, it will hurt your scores, okay? Okay, keep that in mind. All right. Then at some point, within the first minute, the examiner will switch to the general topic of part 1. They'll say something like, okay, let's talk about cars and buses. How often do you use a car? And how about a bus? So give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. How often do you use a car? And how about a bus? Deadshot, it's not about being a native or a non-native speaker. Don't worry about that. It doesn't matter for the IELTS if you're native or non-native. Just use your best English, okay? Some non-native speakers of English are better speakers of English than native speakers of English. 2 billion people speak it in the world as a second language. So don't worry about that. Just make sure that you're answering the questions with good detail, okay? TSA Vlogger, it's not about your interest in cars. It's about how often do you use a car. Never, rarely, sometimes, always, every day. I don't care if you're interested in cars or not interested in cars. I'm interested in how often do you use a car. Okay? So in that case, like Yadim, you should say, I never use a car. I never use a car. Or I should say very rarely. Most of the time I walk. I would say I use a car like once every 2 to 3 months. The last time I remember being in a car was with my uncle when we drove to visit my grandma in January. Okay, so that would answer the question about the car. Think about adverbs of frequency and numbers, qualitative plus quantitative. Okay, so sometimes, always, rarely, never. Okay. 2 on, you can make up whatever you want. The IELTS is not about the truth. Remember what I said, everybody. The examiner is a stranger. They do not know what you know. They don't know the truth. They don't know what's false or what's real. And frankly, they don't care. Yes, you can make up answers. Okay. Single and Savvy says this. I primarily rely on my car for transportation, using it almost daily to commute to work and run errands. As for taking the bus, I typically use it on occasions when I'm exploring areas with limited parking options, such as the city center during special events. That's a band 9 answer. Okay, it's complete. It's got great vocabulary. It's got nice flow, good use of complex grammar. It answers the question, both of them. I love it. Single and Savvy at 40. That's exactly what a band 9 answer looks like. I primarily rely on my car for transportation. That means you're always using it. I'm using it almost daily to commute to work and run errands. Perfect. Really nice language. Okay. Okay. Here is Khorshida's answer. She says, generally, I use the bus to get to my university because I don't have a car, and every day I travel by public transit. We know it's the bus. You've already said that. However, I do like driving. I don't feel more comfortable. It's a little bit jumpy, but I don't feel, you're going off topic here a little bit, Khorshida. I hope you see that. But I don't feel comfortable driving in heavy traffic. See what happens? You're going off topic and you're making all kinds of mistakes here. Comfortable driving in heavy traffic in my city. We don't know what city that is. Not our. I don't live in the same city as you, Khorshida. In my city, Mumbai, let's say. That's a little bit off topic. So this would be like a band 7. Okay, it's good English. It's a little bit off topic. Few mistakes in the end there. So it's a band 7. All right. Okay, so careful with your answers. All right, stay on topic. Students, here's the next one. Where is the last place you went to by car? Now, if you want a moment, you can take a sip of water, or like me, have a... All right, TSA Vlogger has this question for us. You know, TSA Vlogger probably thinks it's funny, but it's actually not a bad question, funny enough. So, TSA Vlogger says, what if I farted during the exam very loudly? Will it have a bad impact on my bands? Good question. Okay, it's a little bit of a sidetrack, but it's actually a good question. So, what if something awkward happens during your exam? Like a loud fart. We're human, right? Okay. Okay, it can happen to anybody, and some people are stressed about that, right? Especially if you've had bad digestion or if you're allergic or something like that. It's allergy season. So what if you fart during your exam very loudly? Will it have a bad impact on your bands? No, obviously it will not, but what should you do? So you can spin situations to be positive. Tuan says nothing happens. Tuan, that's not actually true, because if you get really embarrassed and you get really shy and you lose all your confidence, it will have a negative impact on your score, right? So there are certain scenarios, right, that are really uncomfortable. And we're human. We have physiology. It's totally normal. Okay. Ugulhan says, be careful with your food, but that might be, challenging. Your examiner's human. I'm sure they've farted. No human has ever lived life without a fart, right? We've all farted at some point in life, right? Okay. Just explain it. So, my apologies. I've had bad digestion over the past couple of days. Okay. So don't pretend like it didn't happen. Obviously, the examiner heard it, right? Use professional communication. And I keep coming back to this topic, right? Professionals communicate, right? My apologies. Like when I'm speaking to you the other week, my voice was really bad because I had a bad cold that affected my larynx, my vocal cords. Right, everybody remember that? My vocal cords were really bad. Okay. And I explained it to you. I said I'm getting over a bad cold, so I apologize for my raspy voice. Remember that? I said that to you. And guess what? Now, instead of losing your confidence and instead of losing scores, the examiner will go, oh, okay. And if it stinks really bad, it stinks really bad. And they're there. They can handle the situation. They see thousands, well, maybe not that, but they see hundreds of candidates, and they experience a lot of interesting situations within that within those hundreds of candidates. So the examiner empathetically will say, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Let me know if you are in considerable discomfort. The examiner can do that. Okay, they can reschedule. They have that ability. If you sneeze on them, they might say that anyway. Okay. All right. So there you go. That's the professional answer to your question of what happens if I fart in the exam. Okay, let's go to the next question here. All right. So, I see that a couple of you answered the where is the last place you went to in a car. Now let's do this one. When is it a good idea to take the bus instead of a car? Okay. When is it a good idea to take the bus instead of a car? Try to paraphrase here, everybody. I'm going to give you a nice band 9 answer, explanation, example, and then copy me. Now, this is kind of a conditional, right? It's a real conditional. And Single and Savvy at 40 already said this. So Single and Savvy would be able to connect here. And Single and Savvy would be able to say, as I had just mentioned a moment ago, when there is a lack of parking, especially on busy civic holidays like New Year's, I prefer to take a bus because it is actually faster and saves a ton of headache. Okay, so you can make that relation. So Single and Savvy, you can say, as I had just mentioned a moment ago, when there is a lack of parking, especially on busy civic holidays like New Year's, I prefer to take a bus because it is actually faster and saves a ton of headache. And then you can even give an example. Okay. Alexander says, is it true that reacting to the examiner's sneeze like bless you is not adequate for the exam? No, Alexander, you can say that. If I sneeze during the exam, like I go, achoo, and I'm your examiner, and you go, bless you, I would appreciate that. I think that's natural, that's normal, that's fine. Okay. Ferdovs has this answer for us. Ferdov says, in my opinion, buses are more ecological, we would probably say eco-friendly, than cars. They are cheaper and handy, not so much, and convenient. I refuse to use a car because they pollute the air, and I think they are one of the main reasons people are suffering from global warming. Okay, sure. All right. Michael, you gotta stop. Michael, you gotta stop. Michael says, hypothetically speaking, if I had the chance to travel longer hours, I would take a bus to unwind throughout the tour. Michael, it's not a bad answer, but again, if you start with the hypothetically speaking, I'm gonna be like, here we go again. Okay, so why are you hypothetically speaking? Hypothetically speaking would be like this. Hypothetically speaking, if I lived on the moon and I had to go more than 50 kilometers, I would take a car because that would require a lot of energy, even in the decreased gravitational environment. In that case, you could say hypothetically speaking, okay? But not in your situation. In your situation, Michael, it just sounds like a memorized phrase that's incorrectly used in context. Okay? So, Michael, you got to be really careful with that. If you sit your IELTS exam and you sound like ChatGPT trying to be human, then it's going to hurt your mark. Okay? Maybe Michael is ChatGPT testing itself in the chat. Michael, I mean the name Michael White does seem kind of suspicious. No, I'm kidding, Michael. I know you're not ChatGPT, but you got to be careful. Okay, you got to make sure that your leading expressions are sensible. All right. Okay. So let's jump a question. Has bus transportation in your city changed in the last 10 years? Okay. Give me a nice full sentence answer for that one. Yandim is asking, what band is this? It's a fun question. Think about this answer here, everybody. Has bus transportation in your city changed in the last 10 years? Think about that one while I answer this. Yandim says, bus is better than a car, so I prefer a bus. What band is this? This would be considered like a band 4-ish.
Band 3.5 to 4. Does not require English or understanding of English, but is able to use English words. Okay, so that's how it works, Yandim. So does not require an understanding of English, but can create an English phrase to respond. That's why you get this score for this answer. Okay, there's no explanation here. I don't really need to know English to give this answer. I can just kind of mimic the language. So it'd be about a 3.5 to 4. No, Michael, I know you're not using ChatGPT. I was kidding about that. I didn't say you're using it. I said you are ChatGPT. So it was a joke, right? Because ChatGPT has these like very generic type answers for questions. Okay. Okay. So Najagdeep has this answer. Najagdeep says, it's really difficult for me to answer because, to be honest, bus did not change in my area from the past decade. So this is about a band 6, if you're fluent. Okay, so Najagdeep, if you have this as a fluent answer, it's a band 6. Okay, let's turn this into a band 9. So we'll help Najagdeep here. So immediately I would do this. Bus transport in Delhi has not changed at all from what I can remember. Back in 2014, it was okay. I mean, there were buses going regularly in most parts of the city, and the same buses are commuting these days with similar routes and schedules. Okay, so that would be your band 9 answer there, Najagdeep. So first of all, what are the differences? You're like, well, what's the difference? Same answer, right? But it's more specific. So I'm saying exactly where I am. So it's in Delhi. I'm using the present perfect. Has not changed at all. It's very important. Back in 2014, it was okay. So I'm paraphrasing and giving specific quantitative information. Okay. And then giving a nice explanation here. Similar routes and schedules, right? So it's these elements here that help it to scale up those 3 band scores. Okay. So bus transport in Delhi has not changed at all from what I remember. Back in 2014, it was okay. I mean, there were buses going regularly in most parts of the city, and the same buses are commuting these days with similar routes and schedules. Okay. Right? So students, that's how you can scale up. You should always scale up. Okay. All right, everyone. Let's practice some speaking with some of our volunteers here. Students, volunteer for speaking. Let's do this. So we've done a lot of chatting and writing in the chat. Let's focus on really getting into it. So here we go. Okay. Go to aehelp.com. Log into your My Student account. You can do this for free. Carolina's put the step-by-step for you there. It's great. Thank you, Carolina. Click on Student Partner Speaking. I'll show you this in a moment. And then make sure your microphone, your browser are working. You need good internet, students. You can't be using YouTube and chat interfaces with slow internet. Okay? Michael, that's a good start. Yes, in the last 10 years, not 10 decades. 10 decades is 100 years, so careful, Michael. Yes, in the last 10 years, buses have changed from older to newer models, and then you can give more details, but it's a good start, Michael. Okay. All right, everybody. So to volunteer, follow Carolina's instructions in the chat, or what you see on the screen here. Follow these instructions. Okay. Go to the website. We are at aehelp.com. It looks like this on the homepage. You'll see me there. And then if you want, join the premium version. You don't have to give a lot of money. It's a little payment to get a lot of help. If you don't want to pay any money, that's fine too. Just use the green button. And then create your My Student account. In your My Student account, again, you have like over 120 speaking interview lessons. So when you click on these, let's click into the middle. Lesson 76.
You there, Jansh? Please.
And then you have these interviews here. So you can use those to practice your speaking. And another nice feature is the student partner speaking. Boom. That's what we're using right now to talk to each other. So I accept the terms. We've got Samendar, Nikitin, Alexander, Anahita, Olawunmi in here. Lovely to see everybody. You'll see me in here as well, everyone. You're going to see me in here as master. Okay. Click on the envelope that's next to my handle. And then say I'd like to try or volunteer. I'm going to put my headset on. Okay. So I can hear you and I can talk to you. And then we'll actually practice a few questions with different students, and you will hear them, practice with them, and I will give you feedback. I will tell you what you're doing well, what you need to improve, okay? So again, find me in here, click, and then you're good to go. All right, Alexander, I think we had a little trouble last week, but let's give it a shot. I'm happy you're here. Are you ready? I will always ask just to make sure we've established a connection here. Okay. Alexander, unfortunately, I don't hear you. I'm not sure if we're still having the same issue or internet issue or what it is. Alexander, let me try another student or two, and then I'll circle back. If it's not working, I'll try to make a couple of adjustments, okay? So hang in there, Alexander. Oops, I shouldn't have closed that. All right, let's try this one more time. So Anahita, I know you were volunteering there, so let's try. Okay, are you ready? The system was working fine the last couple of days, so hopefully it still is. Okay, Anahita, if you're there, let me know. And then we'll try it. Anahita, can you hear me? It could be maybe OBS is having some impact on it, but OBS does have a new update, so that might be able to fix it, because I think when we were not using OBS, then it was working fine. Let me just try to restart the chat server and then try that. Yeah. Students, if you ever kind of get stuck hearing each other, one way to do it is to refresh. I'm going to reboot the chat server, and then we'll refresh again. You'll have to refresh your page. I just rebooted the server. On my end too, some of the software sometimes can kind of fight with the other software, like OBS, I think might be the issue here, which is the broadcasting software. Isn't liking that another software is trying to use the audio and the microphone. So it's not the website. It's not the website that has the problem, because when I wasn't doing the stream through OBS, then it was totally fine. Okay. All right, so let's try it one more time here. Hopefully that gave a bit of a priority. So yeah, just volunteer again. Alexander, I'm going to try you again, okay? So let's try one more time. Okay, hopefully it'll work. I could always do an alternative. So I have a kind of a solution in my head. Alexander, if you're there, let me know. That I could do for the later classes this week. I might not set that up right now, but let's do it that way. Alexander, are you there? Strange. Alexander, I don't hear you, so let me just try another student, and then hopefully that'll fix the issue. I really want to speak to a couple of you verbally. I miss your voices. So just find me again in the list, everybody, once more. You'll see me as master here. The more volunteers, the better, because then I can try a few different people. Okay. V, I can't even watch live class from the website. I'm not sure what you mean, V. You have to send me an email about that, because I'm not sure what you mean by that. Okay? You have to let me know. All right? Okay. So, any volunteers? Nahita, you want to try again? Ready? Let's try one more time. Okay, let's do it. Strange. I don't hear you, students, and I don't want to waste your time or my time. So I'm going to kind of go back to the lesson, and then we can just type in the chat right now, and I'll have to troubleshoot. It's a very strange mistake, because it definitely works when YouTube is not going on my side and when OBS is not going on my side. So not sure why that is, but anyway, let's try this last question then, just in the chat, and I'll try to troubleshoot this very bizarre situation. That chat speaking should work for you, by the way, on the website, when you're not combining it with YouTube. So Tuan, it's really hard to know. It's unfortunately software clashes on computers sometimes, and the system is not specifically designed for YouTube or running OBS at the same time. But like I say, there's an update for OBS, and what I'll do as kind of a backup, students, for the later classes this week is I'll create a Zoom link as well for the speaking, and then I'll share the Zoom link. Now that will be interesting because we won't be able to use cameras, but we'll be able to use audio. The camera won't work because we're using camera for YouTube, so it's limitations of technology. All right, anyway, for now, let's try this last question, okay? Just in the chat. So and this is a fun one. If you could buy any kind of car, what would you buy and why? So here, give me a nice full sentence answer using the condition. Okay, so use the grammar, the conditional grammar. All right, and like I say, we'll fix it. Okay, all right. So we'll do volunteering next time. All right, Tuan, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it is or on whose end it is. Okay, so give me a nice full sentence answer. I'll do the same. I'll give you a band 9 example for this, and an honest answer. Given the chance to buy any car, I would love to purchase a Porsche turbo 911 from the 1980s, as this is my childhood dream car, and I love the performance of this sports vehicle. It handles like a dream because it has a mid-engine, but I just don't have 100 grand to spend on this at the moment. All right, that's my answer. So given the chance to buy any car, I would love to purchase a Porsche Turbo 911 from the 1980s, as this is my childhood dream car and I love the performance of this sports vehicle. It handles like a dream because it has a mid-engine, but I just don't have 100 grand to spend on this at the moment. Okay. Tuan has this answer for us. Tuan says, if I could, I would buy the most expensive and luxurious car there is to show off to everyone how much money I have. That maybe is a bit pretentious and egotistical, but I love to be that kind of person. Okay, so what would be the car? You still haven't answered the question, Tuan. So what car? Okay. You have to answer the questions, everybody. Single and Savvy has this answer for us. So even though that's good English, Tuan, you still need to answer the question. Single and Savvy says, if I could purchase any type of car, I would choose a spacious and reliable SUV. As a family woman with children, safety and comfort are my top priorities, and an SUV provides ample room for my family. So what would you purchase? So I may just purchase the most recent Range Rover electric model. I think it's a super expensive car. Right? So I may just purchase the most recent Range Rover electric car. A really nice car. All right. I've seen one. There's one in my neighborhood. And I'm like, ooh, that's a nice car. It's a nice SUV. All right, Chetan, let's see what car you would purchase. Given the chance to buy an exotic car, admittedly, I would like to buy a Mercedes G63 as it is my childhood dream, and it also has great speed and more convenient, and it is more convenient than other vehicles in its class. Okay, so beautiful car, the Mercedes G63. I've seen it. Okay. Alexander, we didn't get to hear you, but this is Alexander's answer here. Alexander says, given the chance to buy any car, I would love to purchase a Lexus hybrid to reduce gas consumption from the current 18.8 liters per 100 kilometers to just 6 to 8 liters while experiencing the luxury and fine craftsmanship that a Lexus has to offer. Right, Alexander? Okay. Lexus cars are known for their luxury, their beautiful interiors and designs. Okay, so you might as well mention that. These are nice answers. See, when you're passionate about your answers, you're giving me some good answers. Bubba John says, if I could afford to get a new car, I would buy a modern BMW. As far as I know, this type of car is well known for safety, comfort, and luxury. So it is my dream to own a BMW sedan. Okay. Do say the type of car. If you're saying like the manufacturer, like it's a BMW, then you should mention if you're planning to own an SUV, a sedan, a sports car. So what kind of car are you looking to own? What type of car? Okay. Alexander says, exactly. It provides a different level of driving enjoyment. It is. A Single and Savvy says, what if I answer like this? If I were to answer in the negative, if given the choice, I wouldn't purchase any type of car as I don't have a particular interest in them. I prefer alternative models of transport, is simply to walk. I'd be like, really? In my head as the examiner, I would be like, really? Given the chance to have any car, you wouldn't just choose a car and then even sell it to make money? So as Single and Savvy, I would still answer it like this in the negative. Since I'm not so much into cars, given the chance to have any vehicle, I would choose a McLaren P2 and then sell it so that I have 1.8 million cash in my pocket. Okay, that could be a clever answer. Okay. Something like that. Okay. Alvin has this answer for us. Alvin says, I'm crazy about cars. That's a nice leading expression because that makes sense. I'm crazy about cars. If I could choose one car to buy, it would definitely be an old Mercedes SLS. The gull-wing doors are really eye-catching, and driving it definitely gives me pleasure. I love that answer. That would be a band 9. It's very nice, natural, and it uses some good high-level vocabulary too, like gull-wing doors. Love that. Okay. Nice. Students, I'm sorry that you weren't able to speak to me today. Like I say, I'll find that workaround. I'll provide you with like a Zoom link in the video description for upcoming speaking classes on Saturday, and then that way we have an alternative if we're having trouble connecting on the website. Also, I will update OBS Studio, and maybe that should solve the problem because there wasn't an issue when OBS wasn't open, so maybe that's what's causing it. Okay, Tuan, I'm not going to do Zoom right now because we're running out of time and I have to set it up, so I have to set that up in advance, but I will keep that in mind now, and definitely on Saturday I'll set up a Zoom link so we have an alternative for this. Okay, so for these Saturday classes, well, the funny part is when we're on the website using it, then it works fine. So just when YouTube is going at the same time, YouTube hogs the internet. Students, do check out aehelp.com. Check out all the other materials as well. So the videos, practice exams, and lots more. The interactive course there for you. GLShelp.com. To sign up for the premium package, definitely click the big red button. And for the general IELTS, it's here. It's the green background, and you can click that big red button, and you're good to go. I will be back tomorrow with task 1, either bar or pie graphs tomorrow, a little bit earlier start time. And then we'll do listening, part 3 and 4 off of Test Glider. If you were here last week, you'll know that was really fun. It's a computer-based practice test, exactly the same as the official exam. So that will be good. All right, students, thank you so much for your participations and your contributions. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria, Canada. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in the world today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.